Hi all, this is Once a Future Gamer and welcome to another challenge. Last week was a slog through Pokemon White 2 as we sought to see if I could beat it using a team of Onix and Geodude, which was rough in places. Today though, continuing the theme of Rock type month, I head back to Gen 1 and see if I can beat Pokemon Yellow using just a single Kabuto. Now then, Kabuto. We've got a Gen 1 base stat total of 300, which isn't bad. It's the same as Omanyte and Krabby. We've got low HP and special, not so good speed in a generation where speed governs critical hits, but our defence and attack are both pretty decent. We're rock and water type, so we're double weak to grass, plus regular weaknesses to fighting, ground and electric. We resist normal, flying, poison, fire and ice. We don't get a lot via level up, we're stuck with Scratch and Harden until level 34, where at least we do get a coverage move and absorb. Probably the best move we get via level up is Slash, which I can see us keeping for the full run. Via TM, we do get some water and ice moves, but that aside, it's not like there's really too much more in here. I can see us using Water Gun or Bubble Beam until we get Surf, and then that'll probably be our go-to combat move. Ice Beam will be useful, but unfortunately, it's not like we get too much out of either of them damage-wise due to our low special stat. Hold on, do we really not get any rock moves? Outstanding. Predictions. I think we will probably have to take a lot of time to beat down Brock due to only having a normal type move. Surge and Erica might be troublesome, but past there, maybe Koga and Sabrina might cause some issues, but I don't think there'll be too many more problems past there, beyond maybe the rival. The rules. In combat, I can only use Kabuto. I'll need HM slaves, but they'll be unable to fight. Only Pokeballs in battle. Last of all, no glitches or exploits. If you do enjoy what you see, like, subscribe and ring that bell. I use the UPR to replace Pikachu with Kabuto so that I can do the whole run with it. I could really use the rival having Jolteon because that will probably be the hardest for us to fight. We have to beat him in the lab and on Route 22 for him to have Jolteon. I reckon we can do that. I nicknamed the Kabuto Helix because I thought that was funny. And then we have to go fight our rival in Mortal Kombat. Hey, Kabuto is pretty much already extinct anyway. What have we got to lose? That back sprite for Kabuto is absolutely atrocious, but what can you do? So, we're part rock type and he only has normal type moves to inflict damage on us. Have a guess at how that plays out for him as he tries to tackle us to little effect. Each tackle does just 2 hit points of damage on us, while we can 5 hit it with Scratch to give us that vital win. Okay, let's set off on the road. I do some training along Route 1 as I work my way towards Viridian City. I reckon I'll need to be at least level 15 to beat Brock because of the severe disadvantage we are working at. Brute force is the only way that's going to go. Before anything else though, I should go and fight the rival on Route 22 because we want him to have that Jolteon after all. I'm surprised we can't learn Dig, you know. Anyway, the first round is versus Spearow, and because our first Scratch crits, we take it out very quickly and drop it with 2 of them, though we do get hit with Leah in exchange. Eevee is slightly more troublesome, but not by much, and despite it going for a few tackles and tail whips, we soon drop it. So yeah, he's going to have Jolteon then. That'll probably come back to bite us in the future. I travel, first through the forest and then into Pewter City, ready to go and take on Brock. This will be the first real test, but I think we should be okay. I doubt he'll be able to hurt us too much, even if we might struggle to hurt him. I make a first try at level 16 just to see how we can do. I can testify after last week's challenge just how physically, defensively solid these two are. I would like to say there's a lot of strategy involved, but it is literally a case of we keep on scratching throughout the fight with the occasional Harden thrown in. Geodude isn't too bad. Each scratch does decent damage for a not very effective move, and its tackle only does like 1 point of damage each time, so we can weather it out while we scratch away. It takes probably about 7 or 8 scratches to down it, and all it can do in exchange is tackle, so we are pretty even. Onix though takes less damage, and this has a few different ways of hurting us. We are faster, thankfully, so we don't have to worry too much about getting surprised by Bide. It only goes for that on the first turn of the fight, so it's not even like we even have to worry about Bide too much. and even then we can harden away to waste the turns. It's good to have a non-damaging move in these efforts. Tackles and binds don't hurt too much, though bind is worse. It only does 1 point of damage at a time, but being hit for a maximum of 5 times is potentially rough. It takes a lot of scratch attacks to chip into it. Eventually, it starts going for screechers, and getting hit by 3 or 4 of them means that the tackles it throws at us actually start to do some damage. But we have enough health to weather them out, and I can use Harden to boost our defences back up. Eventually, we take the Onyx down, and we get 1 badge in hand. I next head through Mount Moon, where I pick up the Water Gun TM and teach Helix the move immediately, so that we have a counter for the many rock and ground types that lie in wait for us. I also, when I get to it, took the Helix fossil. You know, just on the very small chance that anyone was actually wondering. Hey, it's a popular question apparently. On the way out, I face off with Team Rocket, Jesse and James themselves, but they're really not much of a challenge at this point, as we go against Ekans, Meowth and Coffin. Feels like the current anime versions have come a long way from when they were like this, and given there is a chance the anime may be retiring them, going off the information we have at this time, I suppose I might as well make the most of them while they're here. Cerulean City then. I have the usual choice between Misty and the rival, and I figure I might go and tackle the rival first. Misty might be a bit of a rough fight at the moment because our special isn't great and we take neutral damage from water attacks. He begins with Spearow and we too hit it with Scratch, though there is some minor irritation that it crits a peck on us for 5 massive points of damage. Sandshrew is next, normally annoying, but we blast it with Water Gun for a 1-hit knockout before Rattata is third. This is a 2-hit with Scratch, but we get hit with Hyper Fang and Quick Attack in retaliation before Eevee is last. It tanks our Scratch and goes to Growl, so I switch to Water Guns, knocking it out with 2 of them, despite a third one missing thanks to Sand Attack, and with that, we are done. After a bit more training, I go to take on Misty. See how we do here then. This is the nice thing about doing the rival fight first. It opens up a lot more trainers to fight if Misty is an issue. And although we are at level 24 when we go in, I just think we are going to struggle versus the Starmie. That's my take on it. Staryu causes a few issues, dealing just under half our health over the course of the fight with a few well-placed water guns. She drops an X-Defend right at the start, meaning that our Scratchers won't hit anywhere near as hard as they could do. Because Water Gun does special damage, it isn't like I can just use Harden to protect either. We do drop it eventually, but it is not a clean fight. Starmie is just way too tough at this point, hitting us with 3 Water Guns to take us down, but thanks to a crit, the fight does actually look closer than it was. So, I guess we go train on the road to Bill's house and we come back then. Wiping is brutal in Gen 1 because of the money loss. Oh well. I go back at level 28 just to see if this gives us more fortune. I think it might if I'm honest. This fight, when we get down to it, is a tale of 2 crits. This time, when it begins, we are faster than Staryu. We're actually faster than the X-Defense she cracks onto it, which is impressive. We crit and it narrowly survives our Scratch before we do drop it at the second attempt with another Scratch. Starmie hits a Bubble Beam right at the beginning, which wipes out just under half our health, and it's a downhill battle from there as we inflict some Scratch attacks on her, but unfortunately she gets a crit Water Gun right at the end and we go down to it. I make another attempt immediately after, but the story goes very similarly. We go down once again to Starmie, and I think we're probably going to need either better moves or more levels to tank those water attacks that bit better and deal with it. Let's head south for the time being. I come back at level 32 after fighting the trainers around Vermilion, all set to see if this is a tipping point. Incredibly, we somehow still lose. We get the 3rd crit in a row on Staryu, dropping it in 1 hit. Each of the last 3 attempts that happened. Very weird. Starmie is tougher. Misty drops an X-Defend right at the start and the Bubble Beam attacks still do plenty of damage, which is astonishing. Her getting a crit off Water Gun doesn't help either. but we are getting closer. I'll make one more try and then go do the SS Anne if it doesn't go well. Thankfully, that attempt does go better. I really don't know what's going on with the game mechanics here, but it's the 4th attempt in a row where we get a crit on Staryu. I really don't know how or why, but I guess if we try to figure Gen 1 mechanics out, it'll be a while. Starmie goes for Water Gun as we land our scratches, the Bubble Beam also doing massive damage. But here, we also get a crit with the second scratch, which does massive damage, leaving it on a sliver. And with the third scratch, we knock it out. Yes! We've got the SS Anne rival fight next, and this one shouldn't be too bad. He doesn't have super effective moves on us quite yet. Although it is worth pointing out that Rod has an absolute shocker in this fight. Nothing goes for him. We one-hit Spearow with Water Gun, which surprises me. Rattata also goes down to a single Water Gun, which is maybe less surprising. Sandshrew goes down to Water Gun, which is not a surprise at all, before Eevee is last. It survives Water Gun, misses a tackle, then goes down to another Water Gun. I do not think that went the way that he thought it would. I might as well do Surge while I'm here, and I think this might be a problem. I doubt we'll one-hit the Raichu with a scratch. We get no super effective moves, and if we struggled to tank Bubble Beams from a Starmie, a neutral attack, I'll point out, a Thunderbolt has potential to screw us up badly. We go into this fight and immediately, right at the start, we are slower and get hit with Growl, which lowers our attack. Not good. I thought Surge's Raichu was supposed to be slow. The anime lied to me. Our scratch doesn't do great damage because of that. On the next turn, our health nearly gets wiped out by Thunderbolt, plus we do get paralysed. I do manage to get a few more scratches in when it misses Mega Kick, but we get wiped out on the next turn with Mega Punch. Not good. I have a plan. We're not that far off getting Slash, so I train up to level 39 to get that move, then come back. It is an improvement on Scratch for sure, and might be our main attacking move for a while. We go into the fight and Surge immediately drops an X speed on his Raichu, so I figure we might be faster at our baseline now. Our Slash does massive damage, about 2/3 before he goes for a Growl. We shake that off and then immediately finish it with another Slash for the 3rd badge. While I'm going through Rock Tunnel, I wonder if there's any trivia about Kabuto. In the beta for Red and Blue, it was originally known as At, derived from the word Atlantis. Kabuto and Kabutops share a category with Blastoise, all known as the shellfish Pokemon. It's based on a mix of a trilobite and a horseshoe crab. Kabuto is the Japanese word for helmet, and it was one of the original nicknames I thought about. It debuted in the classic anime episode Attack of the Prehistoric Pokemon, which was also the episode where Ash Ketchum's Charmeleon evolved into Charizard to battle an Aerodactyl. It also had quite a bit of an episode in the Orange Islands arc, where there was an island full of their fossils which came to life under a glowing red moon. According to multiple Pokédex entries, they lived 300 million years ago. It actually has 2 sets of eyes, the black dots on its head being what it uses to see while laid on the ocean floor. Lavender Town, and it's time for the rival fight since I'm here. I think this is where his team starts to get a bit more intimidating. Not by much, but some. It's like a nice prelude to the next time we'll see him at Sylph. Fearow survives Slash, fails with Growl, and then we drop it with Water Gun to finish it off. We've all heard the theory about the rivals Raticate in Kanto games. I always wondered what happened to his Fearow in yellow. Shelder goes down to a crit Slash, which is handy. Vulpix goes down to a Water Gun, which puts us 3 up before Sandshrew is next, and that also gets blasted down with Water Gun, and it can't stand up to it. Eevee is at the end, and that also gets a one-hit knockout from Slash. So, we've done that. Let's move ourselves on. In Celadon City, I decide to go and tackle Erica before I go through the Rocket's hideout, just to see where we stand. I get the Ice Beam TM to make this just a bit easier. That's the plan anyway. You might be surprised by the outcome of what happened next. Remember, our special stat isn't necessarily the best. Tangela is out first and we duly blast it with Ice Beam, yet it survives on a sliver and retorts by hitting us with a Vine Whip to wipe out 2/3 of our health. We do down it with a Slash, but wow, that's a worrying start, because I would say Weeping Bell and Gloom should be more special resistant than Tangela. Weeping Bell survives Ice Beam, but Erica drops a super potion on it before we down it with a second Ice Beam. That was lucky, because if she'd gone for a grass attack, we'd be extinct again. Gloom also survives Ice Beam and then misses Stun Spore before we take it out with Slash. Okay, that went better than it should have. Giovanni then. I fight through the rocket hideout until I stand before the boss himself, ready to take him on. I remember last time I took on Yellow, there were some interesting fights versus him. Onyx is out first and goes down to a single water gun for a quick knockout, before the Rhyhorn comes out next. Water gun also wrecks that before the Persian is last. I call for a Slash and that takes it out in a crit strike. Let us move on. After going through Pokemon Tower, I decide to head to Sylph and fight my way through there. While I am, let's talk about what's going on with the channel, since I appear to be a traditionalist if nothing else. In the week just gone, we had episodes 17 and 18 of Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword. I've got several of those episodes backlogged for now. The story is getting going now, and I am getting into it, though I still hate the combat. There was episode 8 of Resident Evil 1 Remake, as well as an episode of Pokemon Insurgence that I've had stored since November, which is why I look drastically different in the video. I've still got another one for next week. I might have to start playing that again soon, since I'm almost out of content. There was also episodes 38 and 39 of Pokemon Violet. The finale of that should be next week. Rock-type Pokemon month is underway. Last week was White 2 with Onyx and Geodude. The next 2 weeks will be an Emerald challenge and a Fire Red challenge. Next week will be Emerald with a single Sudowoodo, and the week after will be Fire Red with a single Nosepass. Speed will not be our ally in these games, I can imagine. As always, if you have any ideas for future challenges, head to the comments section to drop them, or you can follow the links in the description to my Twitter or my Discord. And while you are there, if you are interested in joining the Patreon, there's a link down there too. I do have an idea for something in the future, but I really need to sit down and work it out to see if I can do it with my current video making skill. That's something for the future to consider. Anyway, thanks for watching folks, let's keep on going because the rival awaits. Having fought everyone that I can in Sylph, I make my way to the fight with Rod, and I'm not sure how this will go. He has the Jolteon here, so that might be an issue because it will outspeed us. I suppose I could really have benefited from going to Fuchsia for the Surf move. Oh well. Sandslash survives Water Gun and hits a crit slash, which does very little thanks to our defences. We finish it off with Absorb. Ninetales survives Water Gun after hitting a quick attack, but we drop it at the second attempt before Cloyster is third. We hit that with a Slash, which it survives, going only for 2 withdraws though, as we take it out with 2 Absorbs. Absorb is bad here, but some health recovery is superior to no health recovery. Kadabra is 4th, and we take that out with Slash before Jolteon is last, and though it hits us with double kick for super effective damage, we drop that with a crit Slash for a win. We don't have too much time to relax though, because Giovanni is next, and he's a bit harder here than in the previous fight, though not by much. He begins with Nidorino, and we immediately crit it with Slash for a very swift knockout. Persian is next, and that also gets taken down with a crit Slash for a knockout, before Rhyhorn is next, and we Water Gun that out of existence very quickly. Nidoqueen is last. She survives Water Gun, but despite double kick being super effective, we shrug that off and take it out with another Water Gun for a victory over the criminal mastermind. I might as well tackle Sabrina while I'm here in this city. I think if we can get the hits in, we will have a lot of joy because psychic types can be quite frail defensively. It will be nice to beat her, move on and get some better moves though. She begins with Abra, who is faster and hits us with Flash, but we drop it with Slash. Flash and Slash, huh? Kadabra goes for Kinesis, which makes us miss Slash before we get blasted with Psywave, and that might be the most damage I've ever seen that move do. We do drop it with Slash though at the second attempt. Alakazam is last and it goes for the Reflect, which isn't entirely great, but our Slash lands and crits too, meaning that we can get the win, which given what Alakazam is capable of in Gen 1 is very relievesome indeed. Next is Koga, and I figure we have got a reasonable chance here. I do go through the Safari Zone and get the Surf HM before anything else because that is such a massive upgrade on Water Gun. Being honest, I could have upgraded it to Bubble Beam, but it seemed like a waste. Now, that TM will sit in my PC forever. Oh well, what was really the waste here? Venonat number 1 goes down to Surf. That was simple. Venonat number 2 also goes down to Surf. I wonder when they'll start surviving it. Venonat number 3 also goes down to Surf before Venomoth comes out, and I figure there's no way we one-hit this with Surf, only for the move to crit and down it. Oh, okay, let's move on. Up next is Blaine, and this one really shouldn't be an issue since we resist anything he can throw at us. Being rock and water means we quad resist fire, so happy days! I mean, it's about time we got one of these gyms where we have a pretty big advantage. Ninetales is first and we hit it with a Surf to absolutely wreck it. That's one down. Rapidash is next. The Fire Horse goes down pretty quickly to another Surf 2 before finally is Arcanine, and we wreck that with Surf as well to give us the 7th badge. Do we think Giovanni is going to give me any trouble? I personally don't think so, but I have been known to be wrong from time to time. Let's not forget how brutal this was when we did yellow with Doduo. But here, we do at least have water moves, so that's going to mess him up. Let's go. Dugtrio is faster and hits an Earthquake that we actually shrug off before one hitting it with Surf. Boom! Persian is also faster, but misses Screech, so that's pretty good for a round 2 win, as we crit it with Slash and take it out. Nidoqueen goes down to Surf, and given it knows Thunder, that's a relief. Nidoking is out next, and that gets wrecked with Surf too. Rhydon is last, and we down it pretty hard with Surf. Fun fact, Kabuto and Rhydon actually have the same base special in this game, 8 badges down. We have a rival fight next, and here he has a team of 6, so let us see if we can match up with him at this time. This starts off so well as he begins with Sandslash and we down it with Surf to give us an early victory in the fight. Next is Execute, and that goes down to a single Ice Beam for a second win. Ninetales is third, and that gets taken out with Surf, so we're halfway there. Next is Cloyster, and we don't have a fantastic way to tackle this. It shrugs off our Slash before hitting Clamp, but we don't take massive damage from it before taking it out with Absorb and another Slash. Kadabra is next and goes down to Slash. All looks pretty good until the Jolteon comes out, turns out to be faster than us, and one hits us with Thunder. Well damn, mind you, I reckon I could do this at this level. What are the chances that Thunder lands first time again? Anyway, we rematch straight after, and this time the fight goes exactly the same for the first 3 rounds, right up until we face Cloyster. It hits a 3-turn Clamp after we crit it with Slash for about 2/3 of its health, and with it having that third of its health left, I go for Absorb to try and get the health back. It survives that Absorb and then hits a 5-turn Clamp to leave us low on health despite me finishing it with Absorb. Kadabra goes down to a crit Slash before the Jolteon is out last. Now, it is still faster despite us levelling up in this fight, but only goes for Thunder Wave. We don't get afflicted with paralysis, we hit a crit Slash to drop the Jolteon hard. Woo! I mentioned an idea I had earlier for something on the channel. I don't really want to go too much into it, but I think I am going to go ahead with it at some point. I do have a history of making statements on this channel and then not backing them up, so hence my reticence to expand on the details. I get out of Victory Road and end up in the Indigo Plateau, and here are my stats. It is as expected. Attack and defence are both very good. Speed and special are not so good. But is it going to be enough to win? There's only one way to find out. Take your guesses on if we'll be successful at this level or not right now, folks. Ice Trainer Lorelei is up first, and this could be an interesting one. Most of her team is water type, and we don't have a great history versus those. We have Slash and Absorb, but most of her team is quite bulky. So I guess we'll have to see how it goes. Dugong is first, and we hit it with a crit Slash, but it survives and hits Bubble Beam. We finish it with Absorb, but we don't quite get back the health we lost. Cloyster is next. We take it out with 2 slashes, but it does land a free hit clamp that does big damage onto us. Oh dear. Slowbro is also a slog to take out, but we do it with 2 slashes, though getting hit with Surf definitely isn't pleasant. Jinx is the one opponent on her team I'd expect Slash to one hit, but no joy, it survives on a sliver, and we have to finish it with Absorb after getting hit with Ice Punch. Lapras is last. We hit our Slash, but it survives and ends us with a crit Hydro Pump. Yeah, as soon as it landed, I didn't think we were coming back from that. I do some training and then come back a few levels higher. Time to see if this makes a difference at level 78. It is actually amazing what a difference those few levels can actually make, you know. We hit Dugong with a crit Slash that it narrowly survives before Lorelei uses an illegal super potion manoeuvre and heals it. We drop it with a second Slash. Cloyster does hit us with Clamp, which is never pleasant, but we can at least take it out with 2 crit Slashes. Those things have been annoying the whole run. Slowbro takes big damage from a crit Slash, but goes to withdraw twice, meaning I can take it out with 2 Absorb attacks to get some health back. Jinx goes down to a single Slash before the Lapras is last, and we immediately hit it with a crit Slash, which it survives before blasting us with Hydro Pump for decent damage. We can hit another Slash to end it though. Bruno is next, and I really doubt he's going to give us any sort of trouble, so let's go at him. If he does give us trouble, it will be a first time in this game. I have to laugh at the idea of him weight training with this team, given he has 2 Onyx, and one of the others has boxing gloves for hands. Onyx number 1 gets taken out with a single Absorb, massive disrespect, before Hitmonchan is next, and it goes down to a crit Surf. Hitmonlee is out next, and that also goes down to Surf, before Onyx number 2 comes out, and we down that with Absorb. Machamp is last. I hit it with Surf, which it survives before trying to finish it with Absorb, which does a laughably low amount of damage, and I have to hit it again. All while it hits us with Karate Chop and Strength for minimal damage, and just like that, we win. Agatha is someone who I do need to be careful with. I have struggled versus ghost types throughout, and one of her Gengars knows Mega Drain, which will mess us up. Taking a special attack from a Gengar is very rarely fun. When I did Pokemon Red with Agatha's team and moves, I picked Pokemon Red rather than Pokemon Yellow for that specific reason. The first Gengar survives Surf, then hits us with that Mega Drain for massive damage, healing itself. Our second Surf doesn't take it out as a result, but she heals it before a third Surf brings it down. Wow, that was too much. Golbat goes down to Ice Beam before the Haunter comes out next and goes down to Surf. Arbok is 4th, and once again we take that out with Surf, and finally comes the second Gengar. We hit it with a Surf for more than half its health in damage before she misses Hypnosis, and we finish it off with another Surf. That was harder than you might think. We would probably have lost if that Hypnosis had connected. Lance is 4th, and I think we'll probably be okay here if I'm honest, but I guess we still need to be careful. There shouldn't be any sort of surprises here. I say that with an incredible amount of confidence, but what does happen next shocks me. We hit a crit Slash on Gyarados before Lance performs a Hyper Potion move to heal it up in the first turn. We hit another crit Slash on the second turn, and then it hits us with a crit Hydro Pump, which we narrowly survive. I try to finish it off with Absorb to get the health back, but part of me knows it's not going to do it, and we get ended by a second Hydro Pump. That was unfortunate. Guess I better fight through again. I get back to the fight at level 81, and I am ready to go again. We surely can't have that same sequence of misfortune again as before, can we? Let's find out. This time goes so much better. We don't get the crit on Gyarados this time, but it doesn't crit us with Hydro Pump either. We shrug the water attack off and then finish it with Slash. Dragonair number 1 gets taken down with an Ice Beam before Dragonair number 2 comes out, and we also finish that with an Ice Beam. Aerodactyl is faster than us, and that shouldn't surprise anyone, but we down that with a Surf before Dragonite is last. That goes down to an Ice Beam, giving us the victory. Just the final fight left then, and this could go either way. I think the Route 22 fight might genuinely have been an accurate rep of how this could go. 5 easy wins and then 1 shot by Jolteon. That's my prediction. It wouldn't surprise me. Let's find out. The first 2 rounds of this fight are somewhat simple. We drop the Sandslash out first with a Surf, and then somehow we outspeed Alakazam to drop that with a crit Slash, so that is a relief. Then things go wrong. We can 2-hit Executor with Ice Beam, but it lands a Leech Seed on us, which turns out to be fatal. Cloyster is next, we land our Slash, and then it locks us into a Clamp, and every single time we get clamped, we also lose health to Leech Seed, thanks to Gen 1 mechanics. So, we are essentially getting hit twice each turn, and the enemy is also getting healed as a result. This is not good, and even though we finally break out of the clamp and do land a crit Slash, it doesn't do us much good as we go down. I try again straight after. Surely, Executor can't land Leech Seed every time. That move has trash accuracy, I believe. Again, we get downed by said Leech Seed and Clamp combination, which is probably the single most soul-destroying way to die. There is an effort directly after where we fight through the first 2 opponents, and then Executor misses Leech Seed, meaning that we are not constantly getting drained of our health versus Cloyster, but we still lose an absolute stack of health over the course of the fight, with it doing 20 hit points a knock. We get 2 crits thankfully, before we take out Ninetales with our Surf straight after. But again, the Jolteon is faster and lands the Thunder to wreck us. What is with all these trash accuracy moves landing on us? If I tried to use those moves, it'd probably miss 5 times in a row. Just saying. There is another attempt after, where we make it to Jolteon in good condition, but it does drop another Thunder on us and lands a crit, meaning that we go down again. I think I need more levels. Let's go back on the grind trail. We make it back at level 86, and I am ready for him this time. I know what he's going to do, but we do need some fortune. Sandslash goes down to Surf. That has never changed. Alakazam goes down to Slash. That is still the same. Executor is a 2-hit with Ice Beam, still the same. Unfortunately, what is also the same is we get hit with Leech Seed, and that is not good. I hate that move so much. We get the crit on Cloyster with Slash, but it lands the Clamp and eats into our health, which isn't good. We get dropped way beyond the halfway point by the Assault. We hit another crit Slash when we get the chance to attack, and Cloyster then misses Clamp as we drop it into low health. I finish that off with Absorb to get some health back. Next is Ninetales, and that goes down to Surf before Jolteon is last. It is still faster, but it misses Thunder. Finally! And we get the crit on Slash to take it out, winning us the run at long last, and finally we can enter the Hall of Fame at the expense of our rival. That'll show him. Why was this with Kabuto? Well, I hadn't done a Gen 1 challenge in a while. No way was I using Onix or Geodude again, and I already did Gen 1 with Rhyhorn back in the day. The only other option was Aerodactyl, and that is probably a little too good. The only time I use anything with a 500 or more base stat total is if they're being limited somehow. Or I could have gone Omanyte, I suppose. Kabuto struck me as worse because I believe Omanyte might get more out of its special attack. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed. It was fun enough for me. If you did enjoy, then hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so, and comment away. Do your bit for the might of the YouTube algorithms. Thanks for watching, folks. Join me again next time for the next instalment of Rock Pokemon Month, as we see if I can beat Pokemon Emerald with a single Sudowoodo. Sure to be exciting. I will see you then. What's going on with me? Well, by the time you hear this, I'll have done my first week back at work, so I don't know how that will have gone. Guess it'll have been painful at the start after a fortnight off, but I guess we'll just have to see. Week ahead is the week containing Valentine's Day, and it's the first time in several years that I've been with someone come this time. So that's something. I've got a few things planned, so here's hoping she likes. I'm sure she will. Mind you, is it really 12 months since I did Fire Red with a single love disc? Yikes. Anyway, if you celebrate it, have a great day with your loved ones. I am going to dive off here. Thanks for watching, folks. As always, this has been Once and Future Gamer, and this has been Pokemon Yellow with a single Kabuto. Take care, have a great day, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye now. So long.